All right. Welcome, everybody. I'm so happy that you are here today. I have a special guest with me, Trisha Dyka, who is just a phenomenal woman. And she is going to share with us a little bit about how she works with empaths who are also business owners, how to deal with the overwhelm that can take us over every now and then. So, Trisha, I would love to welcome you. Thank you for joining me today. And also, just start off by sharing a little bit about yourself. What's your story?
What's my story? Thank you so much for having me. I'm so excited to be here. My story was about 10 years ago. I It was like I woke up one day and I was a total zombie. So I started going through my days and I'm just going through the motions. I'm not really feeling anything. And I was watching this progress. This was like day after day after day. And I'm like, what is going on? Like, I remember thinking to myself, this is really odd. I'm very numb. I was very, very numb.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it was like right before Thanksgiving, of course, like right before the holidays, this all erupts, of course. And I start to cry every single day, sobbing like the end of the world is coming.
Oh my gosh.
And my husband's like, what's the matter? I'm like, I have no idea. I mean, I would just have bouts of hysterics and I couldn't answer what was wrong. I'm like, I don't know. I don't know. I just feel awful. Like I just felt awful. And it went on for months. So now here we are, Christmas month, Christmas time,
Mm-hmm.
and it's Christmas parties, and I got a smile on my face, and I'm like dead inside, and I'm doing the best that I can not to cry or be in hysterics. At that point, I was at my job, and I would go in the bathroom in the stall, and the tears would just pour out of my eyes, and I'm like, and it was like we started in January, and I'm like, this is months of this bullshit. I'm like, I'm done.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember going to bed one night saying, I cannot do this anymore. If this is the rest of my life, whatever this is, I'm done. Please don't let me wake up. Not my proudest moment, but hey, I was desperate.
Yep.
So when I woke up the next day, I went, oh no. And it was like just that severe depression and anxiety and sadness. And I'm like, I don't even understand this. I finally had a Jesus moment. I'm like, all right, God, what's the deal? I've had enough. Universe, source energy. I was like, I didn't care.
Right.
And later that day, I had somebody that I had known on Facebook for quite a while said, we need to talk. Can we talk tonight? And I'm like, okay. And somebody else reached out to me and they said, what is going on with you? And I'm like, I don't even know where to start. So the one woman said, what, that night I had time, and she's like, I'm told to tell you you're an empath. And I'm like, I'm sorry, but who told you to tell me? I was so confused. And she explained it to me, and I'm like, okay, I don't know if you're crazy or I'm crazy at this point, I said to her. And I had already believed that, the universe is out there, the quantum field. And I'm like, I was so done. I was so exhausted. I was like, so I got off the phone. I told my husband, and I think it was like a Friday, because I think he stayed up almost all night. And he's like, he woke me up the next morning. He's like, oh, no, you need to get up and research this. And here I've got all these sites for you to look. He's like, I've been looking at this all night.
Uh-huh.
I got up, I started to look, and I'm like, oh my God, this is me. I'm like, oh my God. And I started to join like these empath groups, and I'm like, oh good God, like I finally just one day said, I'm miserable still, and that's not me. I want to be outside hanging out with people, and I'm
Right.
hiding in my house, and that's still not helping me. So I pulled up my big girl pants, put my boots on, and I'm like, we're gonna do this shit, right? And I just started to work on tools, learn my energy, and um, I left a lot of these empath groups because the thought process in there was, being an empath was a curse, and I took that shit and ran with it. I ran with it down the hill, and I'm swimming with it.
Uh-huh.
So I was like, all right, how are we gonna, like, I took everything and I said, we need to completely revamp all of this.
Yeah.
And I kept having, conversations with the universe going, well, what's next? Come on, let's do this. And it's funny now, but it wasn't then.
Mm-hmm.
But we do not realize how powerful we are. We do not realize the power of that connection.
Uh-huh.
When we start pulling on that connection, I started to get those answers. I mean, they just were like boom, boom, boom. And I'm like, okay, okay. And the most important is a lot of people do not understand their energy. They do not. So when they're dealing with their clients, they're
Mm-hmm.
completely depleted at the end of the day.
Yep.
When they're out in public, they're like, I'm tired. And there's just, I'm all about quick and easy because I want to live my life and I don't want to get caught up in everybody else's stuff.
Uh-huh.
So one of the things that I learned to figure out my energy was I created an empath symbol. Mine was a bear. I love big animals. There are no bears in New York. Well, there's no bears on Long Island. Let me put it to you that way. So upstate there are. And I asked the universe to show me my bear when what I was feeling did not belong to me. In the first, few months, it was 95% of the time I saw this bear. And I'm like, is this a joke? Like, is this for real? And my husband knew what the empath symbol was. He knew what I was doing. And one day we went out to that Best Buy. And as we were heading in there, he watched the change. He was so attuned to me at that point. He watched the change and he's like, what's going on? I'm like, I have no idea. And we walked in, he starts laughing. He's like, look at the TVs. And on, all the TVs in Best Buy, they've got how
Yes.
many?
Yeah.
30, 40 maybe? There was a bear on every single one of them. I said, okay. So I said, prove it to me, because I doubted it.
Uh-huh.
So a woman
The
walked in front of
40
me.
televisions with bears on it was not enough for you?
No, it wasn't. It absolutely was not. But here's the freaky part. I said, in my head, I go, all right, well, prove it to me. I want to make sure that the path that I'm on is right and that what I'm feeling is not mine. And this woman was talking to somebody walking right in front of me going, lions and tigers and bears, oh my. I'm done. Drop the mic. Yep. So from that day forward, even to this day, now we're talking, it's over 10 years. I still have my symbol and I don't see it as much anymore, but that's also because I know my own energy. That is also because as soon as it happens, I'm like, oh yeah, something just came in, and I seem to be holding on to it. So, and those are the days like when I'm tired or I don't feel good, I didn't sleep well, that I'll start to see it and I'll be like, all right, what am I missing here today? What's going on within me?
Mm-hmm.
But those first few months, I would get it on email. I would get it on the TV. It would be in the guide. It would be in random people who knew nothing about this would go, I really like this picture of this bear. Here you go. And I would laugh because I'd be like, oh my God. Or I would hear people talk about bears. Or I would actually get the visual in my third eye, which is a flash of a bear. And I'd be like, okay.
Yep.
And sometimes I would actually hear growling like the bear does, the way the bear speaks.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you were getting all kinds of messages, not just really specific. You didn't ask for specific bear messages. You just said, I need a bear.
Yep.
When I'm not on track, I need a bear.
Yeah. If what I'm feeling in that moment is not mine, I need a bear. And the bear came. Like it was, and I really after that started to be as present as possible to myself.
Yes.
Present as possible to my body, because I'm like, all right, I am holding so much in. And it was years and years of holding it in. It wasn't just 2 days, it was years, because growing up, I was told sensitive is being sensitive is not okay.
Right.
Being sensitive is a bad thing. Being, get your backbone up because you need to be tough in this world. Don't let anybody see, and it was messages over and over and over from several different areas, friends, parents, teachers. It just kept coming, and
I feel you.
Yeah. So I started with the symbol. And if those of you guys out there right now who are empaths and do not understand your energy. This is an easy, quick and easy method to use. Like, you know, and it's so interesting because when I talk to empaths, I'm like, are you out grounding your energy? And they're like, what? And
Mhm.
I'm like, if you have time to go outside, put your feet in the grass, you know, and they're like, they don't, they're like, what? And what happens is life gets us
Mhm.
and we are on this hamster wheel of going and going and going, that we become last on low man on totem pole to look at ourselves, self-healing, self-love. We are always going and running for other people, for our jobs, for our
Mhm.
clients, for our families. And by doing that, we never set up or had the time to set up our days or to ground or to take time out. And the biggest lessons, one of them for me was that piece of really honoring how I felt, when I felt it, when my body said, you are tired, you are done,
Mhm.
that's it.
Yep.
Like I would push myself. We are like this society of push through illness, push
Just through
push
everything.
through. You're tired, push through it.
Mhm.
Have some more coffee. I do love my coffee, but it is push through it. You know, you don't feel good, push through it. Go to work sick. You know,
Mhm.
so we are definitely a push through society without ever taking into account how we feel or what is best for ourselves.
Yes. One of the things that you mentioned was how seeing the bear helped you become
Mhm.
more present, and how
Mm.
becoming more present helped you realize how you were feeling. And being
Yeah.
in that present moment, noticing how you were feeling, you were then able to better care for yourself. So, what kind of revelations, what kind of impact did that have in your life?
Oh, so many. Seriously, it was like one aha after the other.
Hmm.
And for those empaths who do not realize that they are empaths and they're working with their clients, you're depleting your energy consistently and constantly.
Hmm.
And what my ahas that I found was I realized certain tightness in in my body belonged to me,
There's
and
layers.
certain ones were not mine.
Yeah.
So I was really connecting deeply with my body. And I would
Hmm.
be like, all right, as much as I want to, there's a spot in my stomach that as much as I want to give it to the world, I
Hmm.
know it's my stuff. My stuff is coming up that needs to be addressed.
Yep.
Um, there are certain things like your tightness in your shoulders. Yes, it could definitely be yours. However, I noticed especially when I speak to my clients and I get certain resistance and tightness in my body, I'll be like, so how are your shoulders feeling? Or how is,
Yeah.
yes, because as empaths, you could pick up mental and physical and emotional aspects.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
and then they'd be like, what do you mean my shoulders? I'm like, why do you have such tightness? What weight are you holding on to that's not even yours?
Hmm.
So, as empaths, this is a great tool by tuning into your body and you're talking to somebody, you can also realize like what else is going on with them.
Yes.
So, and the funny thing is I spoke to a client and she had said to me, she said she was depleted at the end of the day. And I says, well, please, I'm like, share with me your day.
Hmm.
And she's like, she pretty much had back to back clients all day. And I said, all right, when did you eat and when did you pee?
Right.
And it was dead silence. And I'm like, oh, no, 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 this is very bad.
Hmm.
It's very bad on so many levels because where are you showing yourself that you are worthy of eating a
Yep.
meal instead of shoveling it in between clients or actually having that time to decompress?
Yes. And
For me, that was one of the hugest ahas by listening to my body was learning to decompress,
yep.
learning to say, I've picked up too much. I need to now chill and whatever way that works for me. And that was learning what works for me instead of hiding, pushing it away, or ignoring it and pushing through. Because that pushing through shit does not work. Does
Yes.
not
And
work.
it doesn't have to be hard. It doesn't have to be
No.
complicated or time consuming. It can literally
No.
be spend 15 minutes to allow yourself to eat your meal rather than like grabbing a few snacks in between clients. It
Yeah.
can be go put your feet in the grass for 5 minutes and just be. Can be sit on the porch swing. It doesn't have to take a lot of time, a lot of
Yes.
extra effort or energy to really allow yourself that space to just breathe and decompress.
Yes. And I'm a big proponent. I'm like, get on YouTube.
Mhm.
If you love nature scenes, watch it. Like I am a big I love to watch the fires burning. So I'll go to YouTube and just watch a fireplace. I mean, you could watch a fireplace, there are so many nature scenes, oceans, rivers, forests, listening to the birds for 10 minutes. Put
Yeah.
on a YouTube video. Like that is quick and easy.
Oh,
Or
that's brilliant. I've never thought about that because I have a fireplace and I have nature right out my side, out my door. And even when I lived in the city, I had a little yard so I could just go sit outside. But having just, go to YouTube and put that on is kind of brilliant.
yeah. And it totally decompresses, especially after a client. And if it gets really tough,
Uh-huh.
depending on what type of coaching you do,
Salt or
my very own grounding bowl. It is filled with sand.
uh-huh.
I have crystals in here. I have shells in here. I have things that make me happy. And what I do is I literally just put my fingers in there,
Uh,
and it's grounding my energy. So if you have a beach close by, go
uh-huh.
get sand.
Yeah.
If not, go outside in your backyard and fill up a bucket with dirt. Like
Yeah.
easy things, easy things,
Mm-hmm. Really nice.
easy. And I love the summertime to pull weeds.
Mm-hmm.
People laugh at me, but I'm like, I will go
Enjoy
to your
pulling
house and
weeds
pull
too.
weeds for you. Huh?
I enjoy pulling weeds as well. Getting my hands in the dirt and like just being able to be outside and get dirty and get real with it.
Mhm.
I love it.
Yeah,
And I don't
yeah,
think about other stuff usually while I'm doing it. I'm just like, oh, there's one and there's another. You don't have to think about all the shit that you usually think about. You just pull weeds.
yes, yes. Because the biggest thing with empaths, if you don't understand your energy, you're dealing with clients all day, you're picking up their stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Your mind starts to create scenes, whatever that is, whether it's from the past, it's something you're creating for the future, what's going on now. It's trying to explain away that emotion. So
Mm-hmm.
let's say all of a sudden you pick up sadness. Now you're going to go, I'm sad, I don't know why. And your brain's going to bring you to the fight you had 20 years ago with your family.
Yeah, the brain
Or,
is a meaning making machine. It's really good at it.
yeah, because I have caught that too. When I catch myself going backwards to things that happened years ago,
Uh-huh.
or something that you're making up and hasn't happened,
Uh-huh.
that's some kind of like fighting or disagreements, it's like, what the hell's going on in the world today? It makes me step back because we pick things up
Yeah.
collectively. So it could be, and right now there's still a lot going on with quarantine, pandemic, blah blah blah.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
So there is still that collective unease, uncertainty. What is the new norm going to look like, or et cetera. That it's giving a collective unease. So when I start randomly, my brain goes, I'll be like, all right, I need to know what's going on, and release those thoughts, because those thoughts, A, are not going to help you, and B, do you see your symbol?
Uh-huh.
Does it belong to you?
Mm-hmm.
And it's very interesting. As soon as you're aware of what's going on, it stops it in its tracks.
Yep.
It stops it.
Yep.
So I mean, these are all like real simple and easy things. It's consistency though, because I've had people go to me,
Oh
it's
yeah.
not working. And I
Oh
said,
yeah.
well, what are you doing? And it's like, well, I did it for a couple of days. And I'm like, oh, no, no. There's no magic pill. This is a consistent practice.
Right. Right. One of the things that I think pretty much every woman on the planet does, but especially empathetic women, is to take on other people's energy, right? We just feel it. It's one of the skills of the feminine, and that's cool. And men can do this, of course, as well, but we're talking about women today. So
Yeah.
you've got to be able to just sit and recognize what's yours, what's not. And you don't have to itemize it and like really you say this thing is mine and this thing isn't mine. But when you feel something that doesn't feel like your true nature, I like to tell people they can give it back. Like, oh, you can actually give that shit back. It's not yours. Whoever gave it to you, whether how well-intentioned or ill-intentioned they were originally, you can take that. You can gather that energy that you can tell is not you and send it back with love. Like, you don't have to send it back through hatred. You can send it back through white light and just, send it back to where it came from, because it feels really good to release what isn't yours. You've been claiming it as yours for a long time for whatever reason, but free yourself up, give yourself a little space, so then you can actually focus on what is yours.
Mm.
Right? It's amazing.
I actually have another tool to go with that. If it's not mine, I don't even give it back. I give it to the earth and I
Yep.
give it to the universe.
Yeah.
Because of empaths, it goes through us. We're
Yeah.
not meant to hold on to it. It is not ours.
None of us are meant
So
to hold on to any of it. So
yeah,
give it back
we're
to
not
the
even.
person. Like, if you know who it came from, cool, give it back. It's theirs. Give it back to the earth, give it back to source. It doesn't really matter who you give it back to, just as long as you're doing it to set yourself free. It's not
Mhm.
yours. And so unburden yourself from that, from carrying it any longer. Like the shoulders. You don't need that.
No, you don't need that.
And the 11s, I even have them, but like when I see myself
Yeah,
doing
me
that,
too.
I'm like, oh, my husband catches me every now and then. He's like, "You're 11s, honey. What's going on?"
Yeah, that's interesting. Mine will just be like, so what's up? And I'm like, nothing. He goes, oh no, what's up? And I'd be like, and I'm like, what? There is something that he catches in my energy that he immediately knows something else is going on.
Yeah.
So it's so interesting that happens.
Hmm.
Um,
But isn't it great to have somebody who can be a mirror for you every now and then? Not to fix it for you, but to just give you a little bit of awareness that maybe you hadn't seen yet.
mm, like you'll because and usually those are the days that I am rushing or I've got 20 things on my mind
Mm-hmm.
and I'm not paying attention. And
Mm-hmm.
so when he brings it to my attention, it's usually I am wandering or, not responsive very, it's like he's like, all right, your mind is a million miles away
Mm-hmm.
and what is going on? So it's like if I bring myself, I'm like, I see you. I catch you. Okay. So
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but another super easy tool that I'm always sharing is the open heart center intention. And then you're grounding your energy and you just have a constant fan breeze going through your heart center,
Mm.
clearing out anything that does not even belong to you. So if you're picking something up, it's just going straight through you. And I have it going straight down into the earth, or the universe will clear it and it comes back up with love and positive energies.
Mm-hmm.
So whatever just flew through me is now the responsibility of the earth and the universe to clear.
Mm-hmm. Really nice. And then do you put anything back in its place now that you've cleared it out? Do you add anything, or do you just allow yourself to have that space?
No, because it's not mine to begin with.
Okay.
So if it's not mine to begin there, it shouldn't be there. So it fills up
Mhm.
with whatever's going on within me. And again, I would love to tell everybody that everything empaths feel is not yours. But
We
you know,
do have few
I've
opinions
had
ourselves.
I've had a couple clients come to me. I'm feeling this, and this, and I don't see my symbol. I'm really, really sorry. That's yours then. And dead silence. So stop resisting, because when we resist, it persists, it grows stronger. When we try to push it out of the way or knock it down or ignore it, it gets stronger. So
Yes.
it amazes me how much we don't want to feel emotions. We don't want to feel negative emotions. We try to hide from it. And by doing that, it actually makes it worse.
Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I think in our culture, we're not really taught how to identify and truly feel our emotions. Or on the other end of the spectrum, I know some women who I've worked with, like over overflow with emotions. Like, there's no middle ground. It's either I don't know what I'm doing with my emotions, or there's way too many of them. And I think having that ability to identify and feel and process those emotions, to let them move through you. Emotion meant to be moving. It's a skill that empaths need. It's a skill that I think we all need to be able to really truly live more present and more
Mhm.
authentically.
Yeah. And because you're always here, anger is not a good emotion, sadness is not a good, don't cry, don't be sensitive. So it's like society has already beat us up for all these emotions, and we try so hard to avoid them
Mm-hmm.
that if we would just sit down and allow it to flow,
Mm-hmm.
you can just get it out,
Yep.
and by being aware of it, feeling it, it is pretty much, it dissipates on its own.
Yep.
And when you were asking me, what are the things that I learned, I would say above all, the best thing I learned, the happier I am within me,
Mm-hmm.
and I am following my flow, my alignment, and honoring who I am,
Yep.
the easier these emotions flow through me. And I'll feel them, but they do not affect me.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I mean, happiness is our responsibility. It's not somebody
Yeah.
giving us a gift. It's not because it's a beautiful day. You can be happy in any situation because
Okay.
it's an inward intention and feeling that we release, that we uncover, that all of this other stuff tends to muck up our happiness and cover it up. But like if we just clear out some of that extraneous emotion that is ours, that isn't ours, all the energy that we pick up and clear out, we can live joyfully pretty much all the time, rather than beating ourselves up, being critical, harsh to ourselves, pushing it all down, and then feeling overwhelmed, like rise at the surface when it's the least opportune time.
Yep. Absolutely.
Hmm. Yeah. So I feel like clearing those emotions is so beautiful, such a gift when you actually learn how to do it and do it consistently, like you said, Trisha, because is it like you're human, you have emotions and you can feel them all, like all of them are meant to teach us something. So why
Mhm.
not go on that ride with them and have a little bit of fun with what shows up?
I'm going to share several years ago, I woke up on the wrong side of the bed. I
Hmm.
barely slept that night. I was driving into work and I was behind the eight ball. I felt like I was on a catch up loop all day, all day, all day. On my way home, I am literally like, my day was on the go train. And I almost get into a car accident.
Hmm.
And the car in front of me has a license plate that says, "Bear with me." And I just slowed my roll 1000% and
Uh-huh.
went, "Oh, good God Almighty."
Yeah.
And I laughed the whole way home and I was done. Like, it was because I had picked up so much from that day. That day was a literally, when you get up and you're behind the eight ball and you take zero time for yourself,
Hmm.
and you take zero time for yourself, you stop to give yourself 2 minutes. I'm not even talking an hour,
Hmm.
okay? I'm
Hmm.
talking 2 minutes. Visualize the grounding. Go outside for a second, do something, or if you do literally work at a job, go in that bathroom and wash your hands. Because
Sure.
believe it or not, water is a great cleanser. And
And
the same
and
thing with,
it's the second most grounding energy of the all the elements.
yep. And if you're home and you're between clients, go in your bathroom and
Hmm.
wash.
Hmm.
So if you're not paying attention to yourself and you've just picked up so much because you're like in that go, go, go mode,
Hmm.
again, simple and easy. And if I looked back that day, I remember looking back and there were like that I could tell my symbol was there, but I was oblivious
You
because
didn't
I
see
was
it.
rushing.
Uh-huh.
Because as I looked through my phone and I would see emails and stuff, and I'm like, well, I missed that. Well, I missed that. Well, I
Uh,
missed that. You know what I'm saying? It was like, so I guess the universe, like, Missy. And then when completely, that car in front of me said, "Bear with me," I went, "Oh, good God." I'm like,
yeah.
oh. And that's just a lesson that we need to pay attention to, that we need to slow our roll, that we need to, if you do wake up tired, You know, I mean, there are simple things like just asking the universe, asking the earth for more energy.
Yeah,
Simple.
absolutely.
You know, if you need to reschedule something, do it. Nobody is going to be all over you because you can't make something or something came up.
Hmm.
It's like these things that I had like so set in my head. I got to be there. I got to do.
Yep.
No.
It's the rules that you
Yeah.
put onto your own self,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
This is a perfect example of one of the things that I've been working on for like 15 years is my teacher said, slow down and you will get more done.
Yes.
And it's not slowing down to a snail's pace just to slow down, but it's taking this time. It's being able to ground, it's being able to breathe, it's being able to take 2 minutes to yourself in the bathroom and wash your damn hands, right?
Yeah.
Not because they're dirty, but because you just need some grounding, you just need some cleansing. Being able to take the time to nourish yourself so that it doesn't all keep building up, because it's the building up that eventually creates the overwhelm. It's us not acknowledging things as they're coming in
Huh?
and pushing them aside, pushing them away, pushing them down. That's what gets us into overwhelm. And it's so simple to actually take these little tiny steps throughout the day, consistently taking care of ourselves. That is the remedy.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
not a big, like, wave this thing and do this one big thing and everything changes. It's lots of little things throughout the day and finding the things that work for you.
Yeah. Yes. And if you've got somebody telling you it needs to look like A, B, C, D, and you try to do A, B, C, D, and you realize it's too time consuming or you don't like it, you're going to give up and not do it.
Yeah.
So anything that I said in this conversation, please, if it resonates, try it,
Yep.
take it, make it your own, do your own thing, you know, because that's the way you'll keep up with it. You will keep up with it if you enjoy it, if you like it, if it makes you laugh and giggle. So do whatever you can to make it, you know, bring some fun. You know,
Yeah.
I think doing a body scan at least 2 times a day, if not more, if you can, three.
Uh-huh.
And again, it's you're talking 2 minutes and being like, all right, I kind of get on that little train, that little hamster wheel, what's going on? And once you slow down and ask for the answers, you will get them.
Yeah.
So it's
So,
very easy. It's all about quick and easy
yeah.
and being happy, for God's
Yeah.
sakes.
It's so easy to
And
get
your
caught up in the,
mindset.
yeah, it's so easy to get caught up in the doingness and like, oh, I've got this and I got to do this. And then you're just like jumping from doing. But we aren't taught how to be. And that's exactly what you're teaching your clients how to do, is just be. And it doesn't have to be hard. You can be and do at the same time, but you've got to take time to focus on the being so that you can do the things you want to do and have the life that you want to have. People
Yes.
usually reverse that. They do stuff to have stuff so that they can be happy. But if you just
Yeah.
flip that and you start working on yourself, then you can do the, like, it's easier to do all the stuff. It's easier to take care of
Mm-hmm.
the kids and get the meals on the table and to do the work and all the stuff. So then now all of a sudden your life becomes exactly what you wanted it to be.
Exactly.
Yeah. Awesome. This
Exactly.
has been such a fun talk, Trisha. What kinds of, do you have any like last words of wisdom or anything else that you want to be able to share with our viewers, and also how to get in touch with you if people love you?
Um, I am all over social media at Trisha Dyka. So you could, my fan page is Trisha Dyka Coaching. My regular page is Trisha Dyka. I'm on Instagram, Clubhouse, TikTok, and it's all under my name. And you can send me an email to Trisha@TrishaDyka.com, or you can send me a direct message through Facebook if you have a question or you wanted something clarified. That's perfectly okay. And the biggest thing that I could say is, you know, being happy within yourself, finding time for yourself every single day, for movement, for doing something that makes you laugh, to actually be engaged in your life. Because the more engaged you are in your life, you slow things down.
Yeah. Excellent.
Mm.
Excellent, Trisha. I'm so happy that you were able to take time and join us today. Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. Thank you.
And everybody, take what works for you from this conversation. Leave behind anything that doesn't, and really allow yourself to just take one thing from this
Mhm.
and start implementing it today. Just take 2 minutes after you finish watching this and breathe, or go wash your hands, or go put your feet in the grass. Whatever it is, just take one tip that you learned from this today and go do it. And then comment below and tell us how it was. What kind of difference did it make for you today? Right? As always, so much love to all of you. Love, love, love. We'll talk to you very soon. Bye. Cool.